Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Dudes. I'm Phil,
And I am Alec.
and today we're going to be talking about the amazing movie Pink Floyd The Wall.
Yes, we are.
So Pink Floyd The Wall is a very, very weird film to talk about because for those who don't know, Pink Floyd The Wall
it might be. I don't mean to interrupt, but it might be our most abstract movie we've talked about so far. I was realizing that when I was watching it this afternoon, and I was like, oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So for those who don't know, Pink Floyd The Wall is a 1982 movie directed by Alan Parker, which is entirely based on the famous Pink Floyd album The Wall. And so basically, this movie uses the different songs of the album as basically its script and its dialogues, which is a very weird way to make movies, but it's a way that I find extremely interesting, and I think it's really well done here. And so I'm very happy to talk about that. So, all right, usually this is the part where we should get into like the synopsis of the movie, but this isn't like the kind of movie that's very easy to explain the story.
We could take a small crack at it, I guess.
Yeah.
Pink. So okay, the story centers around a depressed rock star by the name of Pink, who we learn loses his father to World War II while he's a baby, thus making him a child of a single mother, which is one thing that affects his life moving forward. There's also the school that he goes to is very like oppressive. That adds on to it. And then we're shown, he marries a woman, and while he is on tour in America, he discovers that his wife is cheating on him, and so pretty torn up by this, he decides to seek out the comfort of a groupie, in which when they get back to his hotel room, he recedes back into just kind of this antisocial mood, which eventually causes him to lash out and destroy the entire hotel room in anger, driving away the groupie. And he begins to kind of finalize this psychological wall between himself and the rest of the world as he begins to see all the traumatic events in his life build up into just one massive flashback that lasts most of the movie, just kind of intercutting between that, and the hotel room. During all this, when he's in the hotel room, he shaves all of his body hair off, and through some sort of mental breakdown, he becomes the very thing that ended up killing his father, which is a sort of fascist dictator in the form of a rock star, with his followers obviously being the fans that are at his show. Eventually, this too causes him to have a total mental breakdown, resulting in a sort of mental trial within his own head, which ends in his wall being blown to smithereens and for everybody around him to pick up the pieces. And that's Pink Floyd's The Wall in, I think, the simplest way I could have said it.
Honestly, I think you did a really good job.
Thank you.
But so what's really funny about that is if you're seeing this without any context, if you haven't seen the movie, first of all, you shouldn't do that. If you watch a Movie Dudes episode, you should watch the movie first. But I mean, that's true. But if that's still the case, so you might say, that sounds like a pretty simple story. But keep in mind that most of the stuff that Alec just said is stuff that I didn't get on my first viewing, which might seem like pretty simple, but for example, like the whole thing of his wife cheating on him, I didn't get it first at all.
Yeah. See, that was the thing that the movie helped me understand, because I was a person who um, discovered the album first, which obviously all of this is based off of the story of the album. So I listened to the album a lot of times before I saw the movie, which the movie helped me understand some things, like his wife cheating on him. I didn't quite grasp that at first. But it's definitely, I think both of them are very much like companion pieces to each other, because I don't think you could truly understand one or the other without listening or without experiencing both of them.
Right.
But I do think that this movie does a very, very good job of conveying that story through some very, very abstract music videos, I guess is a good way to say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's only an hour and a half. I forgot about that. Like, I was...
Yeah.
I put in the DVD... I put in my DVD that I have, and I just, like, sat there, and I was like, wait, this is only an hour and a half? Oh.
Yeah. No, it's weird, because, like, in my memory, I thought it was at least 2 hours, but it's just an hour and a half.
It's the same here. I yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh. But yeah.
So
I guess it's really weird, because this is going to be a really, I don't know, unorthodox movie dudes discussion, because mainly I don't exactly know how else to say this, because I wrote all of my notes not in terms of like story beats that I exactly enjoy, because I think as a whole, I think Pink Floyd's The Wall, the album too, is just a really, really well-made story with a lot of great narrative moments. But most of the praises that I have are for the movie's portrayal of these moments. So I just kind of wrote down all of the all the songs, quote unquote, that I want to talk about. So if you got anything else to add, I guess I'll jump into that.
I mean, I got a few things, but we can just go ahead.
Oh, sure. You want me to go ahead with mine? Or
yeah.
All right. So the first one, I guess I just wanted to notice this, because I guess it didn't quite catch in my mind the first time I watched the movie, which was in the first track, In the Flesh, which is the opening scene of the movie. We are shown these young adults, these just kids, bursting through a locked, chained up door and running in a massive crowd towards something. And we're shown that intercut with footage of soldiers running, pretty much match cutting it to be like, oh, one and the same, or like trying to do some parallel. But I was like, oh, that's decently interesting. But yeah, I like that one. I think all of the instances of Another Brick in the Wall were done pretty perfectly, with Another Brick in the Wall part 1 being the moment when Pink pretty much realizes that his dad is gone, and that moving into the moment of Pink at the playground, trying to kind of get that like fatherly love from just random dads at the park that don't want anything to do with him because he's not their kid, which is not a theme in the original album, I guess, or it's not even like really a thing that's like brought up, but it is. It's like a little sad. It's like, man, that would be like just a really hard situation. And then there's obviously the second Another Brick in the Wall, which includes the whole montage. Well, it's the famous song from this album, or one of them. That's We Don't Need No Education, which is the montage of the kids tearing down the whole school and everything, which is just a fantasy in young Pink's mind. It's a neat little sequence, and I think it works. It's probably, I would say, it's the most music video type scene out of anything else in this movie. Like, I could see this being just the official music video if this movie never existed.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah, but the third instance of another brick in the wall part, or of another brick in the wall part three, um, it kind of coincides with the other track, one of my turns, which is the scene in which the groupie not really agitates Pink as much as just Pink loses his mind and destroys the entire hotel room. Just that track is one of my favorites personally. So I always just kind of get a rush during that scene because I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. And it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing for a track that comes much later, "Comfortably Numb," which is the scene in which Pink's hotel room is finally broken into from his his music manager and like doctors and everyone trying to resuscitate him so he can perform his show. But we're getting, much like the song itself, we have kind of two parts of it. There's the real world where Pink the rock star is being brought back into just kind of the conscious world by some doctor, and then there's the secondary part of the song in which Pink is reminiscing about times as a child, which is shown to us through a memory of Pink finding a dying rat in a field and him trying to nurse it back to health, which doesn't end up working. Before we ultimately cut back to Pink being dragged through the hotel room and eventually brought to his manager's car, where he makes his final transformation into the fascist dictator we see in the last fourth of the tracks shown in the movie. I guess I just wanted to mention "Run Like Hell" because I think that might be my favorite song on the album. I have no idea, but I just really like I really like that scene. I don't know. I love what they do with all of these tracks because it's not exactly like what I envisioned when I first listened to this album, but it's close. I would say it's really close.
All right.
And then obviously the final highlight, or I guess actually I don't know why I didn't write this down. All of the animated sequences in this movie are incredible.
Yeah.
The track "Goodbye Blue Sky" has an amazing one.
That one's really good.
And then obviously the incredible "Trial," which is just insanity. Cutting from these like
crazy fucking scene.
Cutting from these like, I don't even know if I'd say it's like Tim Burton-esque. I don't know what other words are used.
Yeah.
Kinda,
yeah.
Yeah, it's cutting back from that, and then like once it gets to Pink singing, it's just this like terrifying pencil drawing of like a husk. It's like, oh god. But it's one of my.
It's like you know the meme that's like, how did you do today at PE class?
Oh yeah,
it's like,
hollow.
Happy, hollow, sad.
Yeah,
that's I'd say probably the best way to describe it.
I would agree. Yeah, no, it's a haunting visual, and it's one of my favorite moments of the movie. But I think there's just so much too because of just the sets, the production, the acting, which is it's not exactly like the acting is like, incredible because it's basically just music. It's basically just music video acting, but at the same time, it's good.
I'll say, like, especially considering that like Bob Geldof, who plays Pink, is not an actor; he's a musician. And like just his anti-stare that he's got for most of the movie is not actually something that most people can pull off. And
it's true.
I thought he actually did a really good job.
No, he does a great job. Yeah,
he was really good in that.
I also I'm very impressed by the amount of child actors like around the the first half of the movie, because I mean especially the one who plays young Pink does a very good job. But those are all like the ones that I wanted to touch on, and also, I guess a more all-encompassing note for the movie is just like I love that it's like perfectly sequenced, despite the fact that while it loosely follows the track list of the album, it's not entirely to the T. There are some small changes here and there. The song "When the Tigers Broke Free" was not originally on the Wall album, but it's included here. And I think, even though those changes exist, I think they're done really well. Yeah, especially. I can't exactly pinpoint like a specific one, but I think just overall, it's just done really well.
Yeah.
So what points did you have to add?
Got a couple of stuff. Well, first of all, I like to talk because right before we started recording, I was watching a video that talked about the filming of the like basically the making of the movie, which I didn't know about. But I heard, so I learned that this movie was extremely difficult to film for many different reasons. I guess in a way it doesn't really surprise me that much because it feels like the type of movie that, it's not really understood by the producers and by a lot of people working on it. So it kind of makes sense. Yeah. But for example, there was stuff like, a lot of the members of the band didn't clearly understand how, making a movie worked, especially Roger Waters was kind of like the head of the whole project, and who really like tried to supervise everything, but he just didn't understand like the difference between making a record and making a making a movie, because as the video said, the difference is that you can't just be like a couple of guys just having fun in the studio and just recording shit. You gotta hire like a massive team that you have to pay, and you gotta feed them. And anytime you want to add more stuff to the movie, it's more money that you have to spend on them. So stuff like that. There were a lot of fights between the producers, the director, and the band. And there were certain decisions that Alan Parker had to take that Roger Waters didn't like. And so I heard about that. I think that's really fucking funny. So as I said, Roger Waters didn't understand what making a movie exactly meant, and so he didn't understand those decisions, and he felt betrayed. So for many days of the shoot, he went on set with a vest that had like a knife stuck in, like a fake knife stuck into it, as if he'd been like stabbed in the back. Which I think is so like over the top, but it's so fucking funny.
That's so strange. I love that. No, Roger.
It is strange. Yeah.
Roger Waters is he's got some strange moments, especially with his history in the band itself with the album The Wall, especially because like more so than any other Pink Floyd album. This is just talking in their discography. The Wall is his because like. Yeah. He pretty much wrote the whole thing. It's kind of by proxy about him. But I remember reading about this. I don't know if I'll get every detail exactly right. When Roger Waters left Pink Floyd, I believe it was a couple years after The Wall came out, he specifically said in his contract, he was like, I don't care about any of the other albums. Just give me The Wall. Give me the rights to do whatever I want with The Wall. And so it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's his baby, and I totally understand wanting to have like lot of control over like a film adaptation of that. But it gets hard when it's like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. But yeah, and there were a couple of other stuff in the video. The one that I thought was really funny is Bob Geldof, who again plays Pink, really does not like Pink Floyd at all.
Really?
Because he comes from like the whole punk movement with like the Sex Pistols and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't exactly understand why, but the video said that basically Pink Floyd was like against, not against, but it was very very different from the whole punk thing, and he said that making the movie being part of that would be almost like betraying like his
Like
values and that kind of stuff.
betraying punk.
Right. Yeah, kinda, yeah. But
Uh,
still, he still put a lot of effort into it. I'm sure there aren't a lot of people who would have been okay with shaving their eyebrows for that kind of for one of those movies.
that's true. He did. He gave a lot to that movie. So
Yeah.
props to him.
And there's and there's also the shot, the sequence where he's in the pool bleeding.
Yeah.
He had to spend like a long time in the pool because making those kind of scenes takes a long time. He doesn't know how to swim.
Oh yeah.
So that's something that adds like got a bit more danger to that. Sorry if you hear my dog barking, by the way.
Totally fine.
But yeah, so hold on, let's see what else I have. So there is quite a lot of stuff that I did not understand at all in my first viewing, because the thing is, during my first viewing I really didn't know the album very well. Like I knew Another Brick in the Wall. I think I knew Comfortably Numb. That's pretty much it. It's so yeah, I basically went into the album into the movie like pretty completely blind. But what's really cool about my first viewing is I actually got to see it in theaters, which I talked about in one of the very first Movie Dudes episode.
Yes, and I'm still very, very jealous about that. I would love to do that one day.
It's oh yeah, it's honestly it's a really cool experience, and I'll always remember the vibe of the room after the movie was done. It was my first time that like when a movie ended. First of all, there isn't a single person that left during the credit.
Wow,
everyone
really?
just stayed still during the credits, and then when the movie was like entirely done, everyone got up and got out, but no one said a word. The whole room was silent. And I remember there was like this one couple who were like talking about like, I guess they were talking about like, I want to get dinner or something like that. But they were like whispering because the whole room was so silent. And I thought it was really that. I just remember thinking like, wow, that's a really cool vibe. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's very, very rare. I don't even think I can remember the last time something was like that for me.
It's a pretty crazy movie. Yeah. I remember another thing from the video that I forgot to mention was, so the movie premiered at the Cannes Film Festival of 1982, and
oh boy,
it premiered in like the big room, which at the time had a pretty shitty sound system, and obviously Pink Floyd were like, no, you need to watch this with good speakers. So they brought their own sound system, which play the music, play the whole thing way louder than the previous one. So the issue with that is that like some of the
it's really
like
good.
there was like paint or something of the wall that started like to chip down because of how loud the music was, and it created like this whole almost like a fog of dust in the room.
Wow.
Which added to the whole vibe. And the video said that Steven Spielberg was apparently in the room, and after the screening he was seen asking people like, what the fuck was up with that?
I can attest to the fact that this movie is loud, because like you get this like, there's like maybe like a 3 to 4 minute sequence in the beginning where there is just not much sound at all. And then and it's much like the beginning of the regular album. It just kicks in with these guitars, like it almost tricks you into thinking that it's gonna be quiet. So it's just like brr, brr, and it's so much louder than anything else. And every time I watch this movie, I'm not prepared.
Yeah. So yeah, for the rest of the movie, there's quite a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of scenes. That's what I find it kind of annoying about the movie. There's a lot of scenes that I really like and I think are really well made. I can't quite put my finger on why I love them so much, though.
They're just well done. That's like,
yeah.
That's mainly the main reason that I like a lot of them. There's another one I forgot to mention, which is, I mean, I guess it goes kind of hand in hand with Comfortably Numb. It's the one that comes like right before where young Pink is walking around the station while everyone's coming back home from the war. And, you know, obviously his dad's not there. It's a very, very good scene, then transitions into Comfortably Numb.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, Comfortably Numb probably is my favorite scene of the whole movie. And it's just such a crazy scene. Which I'm not sure if I actually knew the song Comfortably Numb when I first saw the movie. But when I saw it, I was like, all right, this is for sure my favorite song of the whole album.
Oh yeah, no, it's there's a reason why it's like the most well known, one of them at least. It's like it's like it's great.
Just really fucking good. There's also obviously the trial, which is crazy. There's another scene that I really like is what comes right after Comfortably Numb, which is when, you know, he's like in the limousine and then he's as the dictator, and he's like, he basically goes like, oh, this guy looks like a Jew, like, get him out. Oh, that guy looks queer, get him out, which is so like,
get him up against the wall.
Yeah. I don't know, there's something about this scene that's just so well thought of and so well made.
Oh yeah,
it's
really well made. Okay, it's very rarely do I ever think like, okay, I'm watching a movie right now that I would not want to watch with anyone else in the room who has not been watching the movie. Like, if I still lived at my parents' house and my mom walked in while I was watching that, I don't think I'd be able to, like, I don't think I'd ever be able to explain why that's in the movie. Because, like,
she'd be like, oh no, my son's a Nazi.
Yeah, because you see, like, the wall banners and everybody throwing up, like, hands and everything. It's like, yo! So I am very, very thankful that I I live with a roommate that also watches weird shit. So it's like,
yeah. But yeah, no. So this whole moment of the movie, from comfortably numb to basically to the until the end, is like so good.
Oh yeah, no,
well made.
I also love the track "Waiting for the Worms," where like he's marching with like the other shaved head guys, and they're all like waiting.
Yep.
But it's just, yeah, I most of the things that I'll say is just I've already pretty much said it. That is just, I just think it's really, really well made.
Yeah. So I just thought of that like 2 minutes ago. So I watched quite a few videos to prepare for this episode just to make sure that I fully understood the movie. And I forgot to watch one particular video that I would have kind of liked to watch just to talk about a little bit. I forgot to watch the Nostalgia Critic video.
Oh no. Okay. Full disclosure, I have not seen it in full either.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of things about it, like the fact that he believes that the song "Comfortably Numb" is the music's form of Oscar bait, and he believes the same.
Did he actually say that?
He said that, yes.
Dude,
and
what the fuck?
And most of all, this is the part that always like really weirds me out about his review. For some reason, there's like these CGI creatures that like are really weirdly designed. like obviously the like wall creatures in this movie in the animated sequences, they're weirdly designed, but they look like they fit.
Yeah.
It does not work with Doug Walker's The Wall. It is very much like there's this one scene, and like I'm gonna try and explain this the best that I can because I don't want to come off wrong in saying it, but there's this dragon. There's this like CGI dragon. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I'm correct in what I'm about to say. I need to see a picture of it. Let's see. Nostalgia Critic, The Wall, dragon. So it's, I don't know another way to say this. It's a fine design, but it kind of looks like something from DeviantArt. Like it looks really, really weird. And there's also this like, I don't know if it's a goat woman or something, but like it looks like furry art. And not to say that furries aren't cool. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. But it is really strange to see it in a Nostalgia Critic video.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's uncomfortable. It's really weird. And every time I watch that, or every time I watch a clip of that, I feel off, I feel unsettled thoroughly. So it's just, I think he might have just, I don't think it was a conscious decision on his part, obviously. I think he just, excuse me. Yeah. I think he just looked at it and was just like, oh yeah, that's a cool design. Without really, I guess, looking into it more. But obviously,
I mean, I thought I'm pretty sure the whole video wasn't really made with a lot of thinking, if I may say.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very strange video.
Yeah. Can I just say what I think is really weird is that, he's got in the video, he's got him and his whole crew that he's got in all of his video, but he's also got Rob Scallon, which is a very, very good YouTube guitarist, and motherfucking Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Yeah, I don't know why Corey agreed to that. It's very weird.
I know from the time that I watched the Nostalgia Critic, I'm pretty sure that I heard that Corey Taylor's son is a big Nostalgia Critic fan, and from that they met. He started appearing in a few of his videos, because it's not the only video that he's in.
Of course,
he's in,
yeah.
I think 2 or 3 more videos, which it makes it make more sense. But it's still a shame that those 2 really good musicians are in this.
It's really weird because I have a lot of respect for the Nostalgia Critic, and while I might not find a lot of his videos as funny as I used to, I still really I look back on the era of me liking Nostalgia Critic with a lot of fondness. But also I think that his parody album and parody video of the Wall might be one of the worst pieces of YouTube parody ever. I think that's
it's a shame.
It's a real shame, but it's just, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shame how in the past couple of years it seems like his videos have kind of dropped in quality.
I can't even speak for that, because I remember I think it was about 2 years before the Wall review came out. I was just kind of like, I'm done watching Nostalgia Critic. And then that video came out, and I came back, and I'm like, what happened? and then I was like, all right.
Yeah. Well, it's you kind of get the feeling that he almost ran out of bad movies to talk about, and so he decided, well, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna talk about good movies and act like they're bad. And he just started making videos where he really says he really criticizes those movies really hard. when they're not like he talks about them like they're really really bad movies when they're just okay, you know.
Yeah. No, where
If they're not good.
where I think a lot of, or where I think like nostalgia critics started to kind of take a turn. Sorry for the tangent, but I remember,
Yeah.
I think it was like, what year did Pixels come out? Was that like 2015?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it was whatever year that came out, or it was 2015, and whenever Mad Max Fury Road came out, I remember he like he was forced to break away from his usual like review format because if he was going to do a review of these two newer movies, the videos would get taken down. So what he did was pretty clever. He decided to recreate all of the scenes with like his own crew and like green screen and everything, and it was a fun little gimmick. And then that started to become the entire show, where like it would be like these 6-minute sketches before any like jokes about the movie would even begin. And that was when I fell off of it, at least. And I'm very sad to say that spiraled out of control into the absolute mess that is Nostalgia Critics The Wall.
The thing that I find funny about Nostalgia Critic, and I've heard a lot of people criticize that as well, is that he criticizes movies for having bad acting, special effects, writing, jokes, that kind of stuff, but he has very bad special effect acting, jokes, and writing as well in his videos.
Well, it's like the special effects in my mind can be forgiven because it's just, you know, what is he going to do? He's a YouTuber. But like the writing, the jokes, everything on that end, it's like, oh my God. And obviously, I have a lot of I have a lot of respect for the man himself. As much as we criticize Doug Walker, a lot of that man has given me a lot of hours of entertainment, and I would not like to sully his name like that.
Yeah.
But just speaking objectively, this is what I think of the show.
But I will say, especially just last thing I want to say for his like special effects and editing, for a YouTuber that has like, you know, his a pretty, somewhat big studio, and he's got his own editor and that kind of stuff. Considering all the stuff that he has, you know, his videos really don't look good, sound really that good. Yeah. His editing is very, very basic. Like, you know, he's gonna be talking about a movie and in like voiceover, and all you're gonna see is like a dark like a completely black background with just like posters, which is, it's not, you know, it's not horrible, but that's what I did when I was 13 years old, and I just want to say that.
Well, it's like, you've been doing this, like, I get it, like sticking to the basics and keeping a kind of formula can be good, but also Nostalgia Critic's been going on for over 10 years at this point, almost 2 decades.
Right.
So it's like, I'm pretty sure
he's at 15 years now.
Yeah, so it's at a certain point, it's kind of like, I mean, you thought it would have changed by now. Yeah. Like, obviously the editing has gotten a little better, I think, from like obviously like that guy with the glasses days, but like, it's not too far off. It's the same kind of vibe.
And I will say, I will also say, all right, that's another YouTuber that I really respect and really like, but I don't really want to drag him down too, but the AVGN2 kind of has the same issue where his videos are also like, they have not evolved that much since like 2012.
See, that's the thing with James Rolfe, though. I kind of give that man a pass on a lot of this because, I mean, I think if I'm mistaken, he has a family and like other life obligations to do.
I think he's got like 2 kids.
Yeah. I know Doug has a wife. I don't know if he has kids yet. I don't know. I don't keep up on personal lives because I'm not, you know, I'm not crazy invested like that. But it's like, right. I mean, plus, that's the other reason I guess I'd give James more of a pass is that it seems like Doug is trying to make these big, like high budget things that like are professionally made in a studio, It's still mainly just James and a couple other dudes. I'm pretty sure doing like Cinemassacre
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like, I mean,
Yeah, he's still, yeah.
I can kind of forgive him for
Still
not.
filming in his basement, yeah.
I can kind of forgive him for not like evolving his video style that much. I mean, then again, I haven't watched a new episode of Angry Video Game Nerd in like 4 years. I've only ever really watched James's movie reviews, so I can't really say. Anyway,
So that was our nostalgia critic tangent, because
our old YouTube tangent.
Yeah, because I mean, I knew, because we've had conversations about that specific video in previous episodes.
I'm pretty sure, that.
So
we'll keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It makes sense that in our episode specifically about Pink Floyd The Wall,
The Wall, yeah, it would be.
it makes sense.
It's almost impossible not to
that
bring
we
it
talk
up.
about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
like it or not, Doug Walker has attached himself to the legacy of The Wall forever. That is a terrifying thought.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of all we had to say about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
obviously, go watch it if you haven't. Listen to the album. Do all that cool stuff. That's pretty much it. I can really. I guess the last word I have to say about it is I can really honestly see this entire movie falling apart for somebody, even somebody who like is in our audience who really enjoys the type of movie that The Wall is, if they just don't dig the album. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I can see that. Because like, that's another factor of when we're talking about musical movies, like movies that kind of hinge on music numbers, is that, it's at some fundamental level, it's just not going to gel with somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
yeah.
it's about all I had to say on The Wall.
Yep.
But a big tangent, not even really a tangent, just a topic I wanted to get into is I've been a busy boy this last week. I saw 5 movies, 4 of which were in the theater. I went to the theater 4 days in a row this past week.
That's awesome.
It was
That's
incredible.
Really cool.
But so okay, I'll start at the beginning of the week and what I watched.
Yeah.
So I started the week off probably on the worst foot I could have had, and I watched Morbius.
Ooh. Yes.
And,
yes.
oh God, I wish I was old enough to drink, because I would have wanted to be drunk for this. Jesus Christ, it was so bad. It's like
that bad.
It's bad. It's
shit.
I don't want to make any calls right now because like I actually, you know what? I think I'm pretty vindicated in saying that this is the worst like Marvel included project that I've seen out of like the Marvel, like the modern Marvel series, if you include, the Sony collaborated films. Yeah, Morbius is just awful. Like I can't even really say much else about it. It's just a bad time. So
what's so bad about it is what I'm curious about.
Well, Jared Leto. Okay, I did not expect to think this. Jared Leto is far from the worst thing about this movie. Like in any other like competently made movie, he would have just been all right. Like it wouldn't have been extraordinarily good or extraordinarily bad. He's just fine. But in a movie like Morbius, where the structure is so batshit crazy that I can't even really tell when I'm supposed to think, oh, is this the end of the movie? Because it just kind of happens. It's literally like we start. I'm gonna try and like stream of consciousness my way through this because I'm trying to piece it. I'm still trying to piece this mess together in my head. So it like starts and Morbius has like a blood disease and he's like, oh, I gotta find a cure for it. So he like infuses himself with vampire bat DNA. And then he like 15 minutes into the movie. This is after 15 minutes of just talking about nothing. He's like, all right. He takes his assistant. He goes on a boat that he has for some reason out into the middle of the like ocean, and then he goes all crazy when he injects himself with the bat stuff, and he kills all of his crewmates, but leaves his assistant alive. And then he escapes somehow from his boat into the ocean, and then ends up back in New York City. And then his friend, who's played by Matt Smith, also has the disease. So he's like, Morbius, I want the cure. And Morbius is like, it's not a cure. It does something much worse. But Matt Smith takes it anyway. And then they become enemies. Morbius gets put in jail for the murder of all the people. And then he busts out of jail.
Right.
And then he talks to his assistant again. And then he like, I don't know what he does. He like takes this lab from like some just hoodlums and does nothing with it. Like he just like he takes like some turf away from some kids and then like sets up shop and doesn't do shit with it. Like he just sets up computers and then he's like, Matt Smith is near. And so he leaves his lair and then spoilers for Morbius. I don't know if you give a shit, but his girlfriend gets murdered by Matt Smith, and so he goes like, and then he drinks the blood of his girlfriend and then flies out into the night and then kills Matt Smith. And that's the movie.
Oh no.
That's it. There's a moment, oh my god, the ending is so bad too. It does the thing that No Way Home did, where it's like the sky opened up and like Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, Michael Keaton Vulture, is displaced into a random cell in some jail somewhere. And so he's like, oh, this is interesting. So he gets out because nobody knows who he is. And it's like, okay, why are you in jail to begin with? So they let him go. And so he builds another Vulture suit and then meets up with Morbius out in the desert. And he's like, I think we should put together a team of our own. Let's get into some trouble. And Morbius is like, yeah. And then the movie just ends.
What?
It's the most bonkers thing I've ever seen. And it's such a mess. It is honestly such a mess.
What?
If it wasn't for the Pinocchio movie I saw,
sounds like it.
If it wasn't for the Pinocchio movie I saw like 2 weeks ago, this would be the worst movie of the year. Mm-hmm. But like, it's. Right. I mean, at least it is like. At least it's like shot on cameras and the production looks like they tried. Like. Whoever was there for like location scouting and everything, they were just given a script. They're like, I don't know how any of this connects, but okay. And they just got out and got like some pretty good looking places. It's fine.
Right.
That's Morbius. Don't go see it. Like, not even as a joke. Like it's one of those movies.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where
that's
not even funny.
That's a movie that I'm gonna wait until it's available, like on DVD and all, and I'm gonna illegally stream it. That's the type of movie.
Well, look, I'm not gonna. I did mention that I saw 4 movies of the 5 in the theater. Morbius was not one of them.
Right.
Do with that information what you will. I will not confirm anything. But
all right.
The first movie, and just to get this out there, all of the movies I saw after this were just good on a baseline. All of them were at least good. So at least Morbius was the worst thing. So the first movie I saw.
It's the only bad movie.
Yeah. So the first movie I saw on Wednesday was a screening of Princess Mononoke. And oh my god, it's the first time I ever saw it.
Was that your first viewing?
Yes, it was.
Oh man,
it is.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like it was an immediate top 5 for me. Like it's at number 5 in my Ghibli ranks. But
right.
I still need to think. I still need to think about it. I want to rewatch it again subbed because I saw it dubbed, but the dub is really good too. But it was a good time. I had a lot of fun. And it makes me want to get back into watching all the Ghibli movies again.
For sure. I think this might have been my first Ghibli movie. I saw it a while ago. I think I might have been like 13 when I saw it. So I don't really remember much. I should rewatch it at some point.
No, it's a great time. I remember
it being really good.
Yeah, it's like, I would say out of all of Ghibli's adventure movies, which like, I'm a fan of Ghibli, obviously, but I am a fan of when they kind of scale it back to where it's like Totoro or Spirited Away. Just kind of like, it's an adventure, but it's not like,
right.
It's not nothing crazy. But like if we're discounting like Howl's Moving Castle, I would say Princess Mononoke is my favorite Ghibli adventure movie because it just it's like if you took Nausicaa. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's like if you took Nausicaa and just kind of like gave it a boost, like made it into the movie that it was meant to be, and it's like, oh, it's a good feeling. Nausicaa's not even that bad, by the way, but but Mononoke is just really, really good.
Yeah. Right.
The second movie I saw in theaters, I saw Thursday night. I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All right. So, all right. I'm sure you really want to talk about that, but I think we should wait until next episode because I have yet to see this one.
I wasn't gonna say anything about the movie or anything.
Right.
Just that I think it's really good. I think it's really, really good.
That's great. That's what we want to hear.
And it was. I don't know if I like it more than Mononoke or not. All of my friends gave it like 5 stars across the board. I think it's like a 9 out of 10, strong 9 out of 10. I just think I need that extra.
I mean, no one should be mad at a 9 out of 10,
No, of course not. But it's like, it's one of those things where I felt weird. I'm like, oh, did I not like it as much as they did? But I like it a lot. I just think I need to. I just think I need to see it again.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was a great time. And it's probably my favorite movie. It's tied for my favorite movie that I saw this week with Mononoke. But the third movie I saw in theaters was on Friday night. Was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And it was a fun time, I had a good time.
Yeah.
It's I liked it more than the first one because it was much less focused on the human characters and their drama. Like I would say maybe a good 5%, if not 10% of the movie was dedicated to that. Right. But Idris Elba Knuckles is my new favorite character. and I'm very excited if and when the third one comes out. Which I don't know if it's already confirmed or not. I'm just very excited.
I don't know. I mean, you got the whole like Jim Carrey potentially retiring thing, so
yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna affect it.
Well, I don't want to say anything, but there was something at the end. That's all I'll say. Right. So if you're going to see the movie, stay a little bit after the credits. But it was a neat movie. Right. I liked it a lot. It was fun. Yeah. It was like, I was thinking during it, like, this is the kind of movie, these are the kind of movies that I want to show my kids. Because, like, I'm like, this is just, like, modern kids movies done, like, really well. Because, like, even though Like
Yeah.
as an adult, I can't really even enjoy it that much. This would have made kid me a Sonic fan for life. I already know that.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's even then it's a great time. And the last movie I saw this week, and the last movie I saw in theaters this week, I saw it last night, Saturday night. It's Sunday night as we're recording this. So I saw this last night. I saw a new A24 movie called X, directed by Ty West, and it's good. I think it's pretty baseline.
Yeah.
It's very much like it's like your standard slasher horror movie kinda, except it has some really cool like visual twists in there. I said it on my Letterboxd review of it, but it's just kind of like it's. I think the visuals are great. The cinematography is really well done. There's like a lot of the movie plays with its editing in ways that doesn't feel like intrusive at all. Like it's trying to experiment a little bit, and I think it's cool for doing that. And I really like the score and soundtrack. I think that was done well as well. The acting was also, good. It's just good. The main thing though, and part of me almost doesn't want to bring this up because I think it's so cool,
Yeah.
but I feel like I would be doing the movie a disservice not to mention what I think is the coolest thing that it does. Because it's not a spoiler per se.
All right.
But the main character in the movie, Maxine, is played by Mia Goth, and the main antagonist of the film is an old woman named Pearl, who is also played by Mia Goth. So I didn't learn this until after the movie, and that blew my mind because the performances are so different from each other. The makeup is incredible. Like unless I knew that, it would have been indistinguishable.
Right.
And it's that part really like made me gain an appreciation for the movie. So while I can't see myself, revisiting it anytime soon, or even when it comes out on digital, Blu-ray, whatever. I don't see myself really going back to it that often. That's gonna stick in my head for a while because I think that's really cool. So if anybody listening is a big slasher horror movie fan, this is one of the better recent examples I've seen of it. So I would definitely say that it's worth your time. At least worth one watch,
All right.
And I also this is the last thing, just kind of an addendum onto just what I've been watching. I finished season 1 and started season 2 of Atlanta, Donald Glover's FX show, and it's very, very good. And I also finished season 1 of the classic TV show Lost, which I'm watching for the first time. And I'm not going to say anything, obviously, because it's a show where if you even know like the slightest amount of things, it's spoilers. But just know I have not seen any of the other seasons, but season 1 is pretty much perfect TV. I don't think I have a single problem with that season. So, if you're out there and you still haven't seen Lost, it's a good time. But it's an investment. It's like 6 seasons long, and every episode's like 50 minutes. So I don't blame you if you're gonna sit that one out. But it's a good time. And that is the end of my big movie ramble that I've seen this last week.
All right.
So what have you been watching this last week?
I've seen 5 movies too.
Oh, 5 and 5.
So, yeah. So the first one again. The first one is definitely the worst one that I've seen. So it's so all right. I never watch movies on TV. I feel like that might be the worst way to watch a movie because I don't want to watch a movie and get ads every 10 minutes,
Yeah, I agree.
But, and I don't know why. So there's in Quebec, there's like the biggest TV channel here. Every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. it plays a movie, and it's always like the same kind of shitty movie. It's like those like those shitty empty action movie where nothing happens pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's always the same movies, and it kind of gets annoying. But
yeah,
there was a movie, and I don't know why. I did not like it, but I got into it, and I don't know how that happened.
No, I understand that completely.
Yeah. So the movie is called Flight Plan with Jodie Foster. So basically, it's about a mother played by Jodie Foster who travels with her daughter on a plane in a massive, like the biggest plane in the world that she helped. I think she's like an engineer, and she helped to design it. And so she's there with her daughter, and then she, it's a pretty long flight, so she falls asleep. When she wakes up, her daughter is not there. So she starts looking for her daughter. She can't find her. So she starts asking people, and when she starts asking like the pilot and those kinds of people, they look at the files, and they're like, "Ma'am, your daughter has never been on this plane. You came on that plane alone."
Okay.
And so she starts freaking out, and so there's basically, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it because I don't think many people will really mind it. It's a human trafficking thing. So her daughter was basically like kidnapped, and like the pilot was like into it. Pilot played by Sean Bean, who does not die in this movie, just to say. And it's just like, it was just so stupid. And there was so much stuff that just made no fucking sense. But I will give it the fact that it was kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
And I was able to get into it, it can't be that horrible, but
yeah. That was how I felt about a Netflix movie that came out during the pandemic called Extraction, with who's the guy who plays Thor? Is it Chris Hemsworth, or is that the
Oh yeah,
is that the right Chris?
Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Right.
It was like pretty standard action movie. He goes to India to save this kid from some like drug ring, and like the story was nothing, and like the acting was just kind of baseline, but for some reason the action was just so like brutal and fun to the point where I was just like, you know what, I'm having a good time watching this very just kind of like C-list action movie. Yeah.
That's the kind of movies that I recommend to my dad.
Yeah, absolutely. Like every time I go back home and I see my stepdad, I'm like, "Hey, I watched this movie the other day. I think you're really gonna like it." And that's how that's how they are like, with me and weird movies. Like my roommate knows my taste pretty well, and he watched Taxi Driver for the first time the other day, and he texted me. He was like, I don't know what other way to say this. I haven't seen Taxi Driver, by the way. He was like, I don't know what other way to say this, but Taxi Driver is your kind of movie. And I was like, I understand what you mean by that completely, but I've never seen it.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna add myself to the list and say that you should watch Taxi Driver.
Yeah, I know.
But
okay, what am I doing this week? Maybe I'll just watch Taxi Driver this week.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Do that. That's a movie that I should rewatch as well. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw it.
Okay, it's on Netflix. Yeah, I'll watch it.
But this kind of funny is today. Like recently, Netflix Canada added the new Rambo movie on Netflix, The Last Blood.
Oh.
And when my dad heard that, he was like, "Oh, I gotta watch that," and he made it like almost an event. It was like, "Yo, I'm watching Rambo tonight." So yeah, I thought that was really funny, but Yeah, no, this is just the kind of movie. I feel like this is the kind of movie that most dads really like. Um, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. But so yeah, so I watched Flight Plan. Then I kind of randomly was like, you know what film I really want to watch? City of God. So I did.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how familiar you are with this movie, but City of God is a Brazilian movie made in like 2002, I think. It's one of those movies kind of like, Boys in the Hood, Do the Right Thing, where it's like a group of like, a group of young people in a pretty like brutal neighborhood that get into conflicts, crime-related conflicts with like the police and stuff like that. Except instead of being in the U.S., it's in Brazil, and it's fucking brutal.
Mm.
And it's so. This is I've never. What I said in my Letterboxd review is, so I rated this movie 5-star, mainly because I don't feel like it deserved. It's one of the few movies that I feel like it really does not deserve anything less.
Wow. Okay.
Because all right, there's a lot of movies that I've rated 5 stars that I know don't necessarily deserve it. My favorite movie is a Harry Potter movie, and I don't really think it's really a 5-star movie. This movie does so much stuff that is just amazing, that's just crazy, that I can't really get. It doesn't really deserve anything less than 5 stars. Just in the way that the story is told, in the way that it's shot. The shots in this movie are insane. It's the shots are just so like creative. They look so fucking cool. Just no other way to say it. It's maybe the best camera work I've ever seen in a movie. I'm just saying that. That's it. Not going to spoil the scenes in particular, but it might have the best child acting I've ever seen in any movie. Holy shit. No, that's a masterpiece. That's all it is. And so yeah, I really, really recommend watching City of God. It's really, really, really good. So next I saw a movie that is pretty different. I watched this movie called Studio 666.
Aha.
Which so basically is the Foo Fighters movie that they released this year, where it's basically the story is the Foo Fighters move into an old haunted house to record their new album, and in the process the ghosts of the house possess Dave Grohl, and he basically starts to kill every member of the band. And yeah, basically it's a slasher movie, but with Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. And all right, this really is a movie that was made like, hey guys, we could potentially make a horror movie, so let's just fucking do it. And it really has the entire time. It really does have the feeling of they take themselves seriously. They really do not take themselves seriously at all. They really just try to have fun with it. And I feel like if I wasn't a Foo Fighters fan, I wouldn't like it. But I did, because it's just more time spending with more time watching some of my favorite musicians just doing something fun and just having like fun with the project, like their music. Mm-hmm. There are some pretty funny jokes. There's a joke in particular with Lionel Richie that I thought was really good. Because the whole movie basically is like Dave Grohl has a massive he can't find any inspiration at all, and anytime he comes up with a song idea, they're like, somebody's gonna be playing a riff, and someone's gonna be like, all right, dude, that's a really cool song, but it's called Everlong and you made it 20 years ago. That kind of stuff. And there's one scene where there's one scene where he just starts playing the piano and he starts singing the song, and then you see a hand coming on his shoulder, and the camera cuts, and it's Lionel Richie who's like, "Hey Dave, we've all been there, but that's my fucking song," because he was playing Hello.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's my fucking song. It's that kind of stuff that's so good. And so, all right, it's always dangerous to have a movie with 6 main actors that are not actors, and it's always a gamble of who's good and who's not. So I'll say Dave Grohl is like, he's definitely not the best actor in the world, but he's like, you can see that he doesn't mind being in front of the camera, and that's what I'll say.
Right.
So that definitely helps. Taylor Hawkins, rest in peace, was also really good. In general, the band was at least average, except for, and I fucking love him, but Pat Smear, one of the guitar players, is really bad.
Oh.
Because you can see that he's not like used to really being on camera, and during the interviews, even though he was like, he's a legendary musician, he was in Nirvana for a year and that kind of stuff, you can see that he's always the quiet one in the interviews, and you can see that that's just his personality. So being in front of the spotlight is just not what he's used to. So it's perfectly understandable, but he just wasn't that great. But so Studio 666 is just a very, it's a good time. It's a funny movie that I don't really recommend that much if you don't like Foo Fighters. But if you're a Foo Fighters fan, go ahead and watch it. I think you could like it. Then yesterday I watched 2 movies. The first one, all right, so I'm sure we've all had that kind of stuff where we're like, I'd like to add one more movie to my Letterboxd page, but I don't want to spend too much time watching it, so I'm just going to find a very short movie. And so I watched Simon of the Desert by what's his name? Louis Buñuel, who made Un Chien Andalou with the movie with the eye.
Oh yeah, of course.
The eye scene. Mm-hmm. And so that's a 45-minute long movie. So I thought, why not? I'm just gonna watch it. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of very, very interesting ideas, very nice sort of criticism of religion and of human stupidity, that kind of stuff. The ending is really weird, and I'm not sure if I understand, but it's pretty cool as well. But it's not. It's nothing that like mind-blowingly good, It's it's a good movie. But the real good movie that I saw yesterday is right after that I saw Children of Men, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, which has been on my watch list for a while. Man, that is good. That's fucking good. I really like it. So I don't know if you've seen that.
No. It is in my watch list though, as our every other Alfonso Cuarón movie. Mm-hmm. Because I really enjoy his stuff.
Yeah. And Children of Men is just such an interesting concept that is really well made. There are some of the, like, I was talking about camera work for City of God, but Children of Men has like some amazing camera work as well, because the whole movie basically is shot like with shoulder cameras, and it's got like a bunch of really long shot that are really, really well made, that are just crazy. There's a shot in particular, not going to spoil anything, but there's a shot where blood spills on the camera, and you've got like all the like traces of blood on the camera itself, and so it kind of makes it feel like the camera is a character on its own, which is pretty crazy. There are just certain scenes in the movie that are so amazing. This might be my favorite Alfonso Cuarón, which, I mean, to be fair, I've only seen that one in The Prisoner of Azkaban, but it is one of my favorite Harry Potter movies.
Ooh,
so.
that means we gotta talk about Y Tu Mama Tambien sometime soon.
Oh, hell yeah. Have you seen Y Tu Mama Tambien?
Yes, is my favorite Cuarón.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I gotta watch it.
It's my favorite, but I know for a fact that it's going to be a little uncomfortable to talk about.
Well, I know it's a very sexual movie.
Yes, that's basically what I'm talking about. It is probably the most sexual movie out of like any of my favorites. So, it'll be a fun time. We'll have fun. But anyway.
Yeah, sure. One day.
So, was there anything else that you consumed in this past week?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. Didn't really watch any TV show or anything. I did play a bit more of The Witcher 3, but that's pretty much it. Oh no! Oh my god! I forgot to talk about that when we were talking about Pink Floyd.
Ooh.
But it's very, very. We are kind of starting a habit on Movie Dudes of having a very surprising luck for certain movies, like Solaris, which we randomly uploaded on the 50th anniversary, and this episode, which we're recording on the week that Pink Floyd just happened to make their first song in like 28 years.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
It is crazy. I didn't quite make that correlation in my head, but I remember I was sitting on the couch watching Atlanta, and my friend called me. He was like, I don't know how to say this. Pink Floyd made a new song. And I was just like, what? What do you mean Pink Floyd made a new song?
Yeah. And I thought it was pretty good.
I have not listened to it yet, actually. But
it's pretty good because it was made for the Ukraine war, and it's so basically the singer in the song is a like featured artist. He's a Ukrainian singer, and it's got this weird like Ukrainian type of music vibe to it, which I think is really nice, and it fits with the whole Pink Floyd kind of like experimental thing. And yeah, no, they still got the sound. It still sounds exactly like what you'd expect from a Pink Floyd song, and that's all I wanted it to be, and I like it. It's a good song.
Yeah, that's good. That is crazy that we've had that kind of weird luck, and I can't imagine that that'll be the last time.
Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen next?
Who knows?
Well, I could talk about so that wasn't this week, but that was like I think 2 weeks ago. I watched an anime for the first time in like months.
Ooh, what'd you watch?
Could talk about that. I watched a very popular anime right now, which is called My Dress Up Darling. Right. which is like a romance anime about this girl who really wants to start cosplaying but is really bad, and meets a guy who can like make cosplays for her, and they start like doing this being this like cosplaying duo, and they start a romance and that kind of stuff. And it's a really good anime, I'll say that. It's very sweet, and I got way into it. I binge watched that shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
The reason I should say the reason I started laughing is not because I've watched the show or have any kind of opinion towards it at all. But I had a moment with myself recently where it was in my Discord server that I have with my friends. Like my old like high school friends, and we were just talking about stuff, And one of them was like, yeah, I started watching My Dress Up Darling. And they were like, oh, is that show that I've been seeing everywhere? And I was like, what show? Like, I hadn't seen it on Twitter or, like, anything. And they were like, oh, you haven't seen this? And they started, like, posting pictures of it. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But it's just, it's funny to hear about that from someone I haven't talked to about it at all.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to...
So now you got proof that it's actually a popular show and wasn't invited by your friends.
I'm trying to think of what the last anime I watched was. I tried starting Samurai Champloo, which is the second series by Shinichiro Watanabe, the creator of Cowboy Bebop. It's really good, but for some reason I am just not interested in anime right now. Like
same thing.
Like other than like JoJo, but I don't. Part of me doesn't think JoJo counts anymore. At least in my subconscious. I don't know why.
Right.
But like other than that, I just haven't been watching anime. Like I've just been watching, literally Lost. Lost in Atlanta has been like my TV watching habits for the last little while.
Right. I don't know why, because it's like ever since I was I think I started watching anime when I was like 9 years old.
Wow.
With One Piece. And I haven't been watching like a crazy amount of anime, but I have been into anime, and for the last couple of months I've really been through a phase of just really not being that interested about anime, and I don't know why, because there's a lot of really good anime.
Oh yeah.
So that's not the issue, but it's like there's Beastars season 2 came out on Netflix, and I saw like half of it when it came out, and I haven't seen anything else since.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but it's like,
did we talk about Beastars season 2 on here? It's like I
think you might have mentioned it.
Yeah, because like I liked it, but I don't think I liked it as much as the first season, because I think the first season is just like a really like tightly built like story in like a 12 episode season. And season 2 is good. It has its moments where I'm like, I don't know if I loved that decision, but everything else is like some of the stuff is really good. So that's kind of all I had about it.
Yeah, well, I had kind of like the same thing with the first season, which is, I don't know why I have that with Beastars, but it's like I watch an episode and I think, oh my god, this is so good, this is amazing. And then I just stop watching the episode. Like once the episode's done, I do something else, and then I don't come back to the show for the next 2 weeks. And it's not an issue of me not liking it, because it's one of my favorite anime. I love it. I think it's amazing. But I don't have anything. I don't have that thing that makes me want to go back to it. I don't know why.
That spark.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have that with anything else, like with any other show. It's just weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, I get you. I don't know. I tried watching Komi Can't Communicate on Netflix. I think I got about 2 episodes in. It's okay. I like the animation, and I like the. Yeah, it's about all I like about it, actually. The animation's really pretty, especially in the opening. Very, very good stuff. But the story is just, it's your typical like high school semi-romance thing that doesn't really feel like it's progressing that much at all. I still think the best high school romance thing I've seen is Toradora, which is a really good anime. Because that one, it is a, I guess you could say, like, limited series. I mean, it's about 24 episode long season, so I mean, limited as you can get it, but it does have an ending.
Right.
So, at least at that point you felt like there was a goal to work towards.
Have you seen Clannad?
No, I have not seen Clannad.
That's what I thought. No, I really, really like Clannad. I do really like slice of life, and I think this is why I also like very dialogue based movies.
Oh, I can dig slice of life.
I think that's
yeah.
I think my love for dialogue based movies started with slice of life. Because like I've got I've got two brothers that are very into anime. One of them watches like literally everything, and he watches a fuck ton of anime. The other one got into anime much more recently, and he pretty much only watches like, I think the only shows that he's watched are Naruto, One Piece, and Jujutsu Kaisen. Just to give an example. And so he is really not into like slice of life. Really does not interest him at all, which I understand.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's funny to see like the contrast. But I like to try to introduce him. Try to introduce him to some stuff. I don't know if I can get him into a Satoshi Kon movie, I would be so happy.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But I don't know. I don't know if I can pull it off. I don't know if I can actually manage to do that.
I get you.
I'll have to see. Yeah.
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 It's getting interesting because my girlfriend, when we first started dating, did not have much exposure to anime, and it was around the time that I was getting into anime, so I would talk about what I'd watch, and she was like I don't know if this like means anything or if this was like one of the great ones, but I remember she was talking about this guy that she had a crush on like in early high school that really liked Sword Art Online, so like she decided like oh, okay, I'll watch it, see if we can have something in common, and then and then she was like, Alec, it was awful. And I just started laughing.
Yeah.
And she was like, why are you laughing so hard? And I'm like, that just means that you have good taste. It's okay.
Yeah. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Saying that you don't like Sword Art Online is a good sign.
Yeah. And so I showed her JoJo, which she loves. I showed her the first few episodes of Death Note, which she really likes and will probably start watching on her own. And I'm very proud of her because recently she sought out and started watching her very first anime by herself, which is Demon Slayer. Which is one that I have not seen, but she loves it. But
it is really good.
Yeah, it was.
It's gone.
Oh yeah, what were you saying?
I think Demon Slayer might have like the best beginning of any anime. There's like I think it's like the fourth episode. There's the whole episode is like a workout episode, basically, where it's like like a Dragon Ball like evolution, like training to get better, and the way it's made is just so like yes, it's like just fucking hypes you up. And it's like a 1 year time skip, and by the end, he's got like fucking long hair and everything. And like, yo, that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Demon Slayer is really good.
I bet, really man. Good. Yeah, it's one that she wants to show to me eventually. Yeah. I mean, more recently, I don't know. With every passing month, my urge to rewatch Evangelion grows stronger and stronger. Because it's been about 3 years almost, and I'm getting that itch. I'm like, oh, it's been a while. But
yeah, maybe I should try to watch it.
Yeah, because I would really love to have like I don't know when we would do this because we talked about this months ago, like back in like our first like few episodes. We talked about the prospect of having episodes where we go over a season of a TV show or something like that. Yeah. And I would love to do one dedicated to the series Neon Genesis Evangelion. Right. And as well as the the movie that comes after it, End of Evangelion. But like that would be such an undertaking to the point where I feel like with my expertise on the show, since I've known it for so long, I would have to write like a comprehensive timeline of events just so everything
Yeah.
makes sense. And that would be maybe our longest episode.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
But so, all right, here's the thing, though. It was 2 or 3 years ago. Netflix added Evangelion to its catalog,
Right.
and so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. And I watched 7 episodes,
Oh.
and I'm very, very sorry to say that I was so bored.
Yeah. Did you? Okay. What? What did you watch? What did you watch of it? Like what? Like did you watch the sub or the dub?
The sub.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's the thing with the Netflix thing. It's like with the Netflix version of it, and it's one of the reasons that I haven't picked up the very, very recent Blu-ray release of it is because the Netflix localization as well as the Netflix dub really does not work for the show. Because while the old dub the old dub that was made like around the time that the actual show was coming out in the late 90s, it's goofy, it's campy, but damn if it isn't fun. Like it really works for the show. But then you watch like the Netflix stuff, and I love all the actors. They've all been in stuff that I really enjoy. But it's robotic as hell. It's like, yeah, the prospect of that being the version of Evangelion I own is not exactly like, great. But like Evangelion is definitely one of those shows. I think more so than any of my other favorite shows, maybe actually, that I can totally understand why someone would drop it. Because it is just
right.
It's a bit obtuse at times, and I can totally understand why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's like the thing too with Evangelion is like the end of Evangelion on Letterboxd has a 4.4 rating. It's the 23rd highest rating movie on Letterboxd. So it's gotta mean something.
Oh yeah,
there's gotta be a reason that that is. So, I need to watch it. I feel like I need to do that.
It's Evangelion, like it has a very standard beginning, but I would say like the last, where is it? Like I believe like maybe the last 5 or 6 episodes plus end of Evangelion is some of the most existential like crazy shit I've ever seen. So like it took me like maybe 3 months to even think like, oh, I think I understand exactly what happened. Because it is so so abstract in how it wants to present its story, and that's like, it's like a part of me feels like I should hate it for that reason. A part of me feels like I shouldn't like this show. It's so weird. It doesn't do anything like any other show would. That's kind of why I love it, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can totally understand why someone else would be turned off by that.
What I'm thinking about though is, so I saw it I think 3 years ago when I was still in high school, and in the past 3 years my taste in movies and TV show has like kind of evolved a bit. It's definitely changed, and I feel like I love certain things that I didn't love before that.
That is true.
So maybe
tastes do evolve.
Yeah.
And I will say, not to be one of these people or whatever, but
yeah,
you did kind of leave. You did kind of leave right before one of the best episodes.
I'm sure I did. Sure I did.
But like that's fine. If you didn't enjoy the whole that was my hook for the show, was I believe it's like the last 2 episodes before the 8th episode, like 6 and 7, whatever episode Ray 1 and 2 is. Like those were the ones that got my attention. So So yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to rewatch it.
Yeah.
At some point.
And if you
actually made a list recently. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, if you feel yourself getting bored with the sub, I still have all the MP4s of the original dub. If you'd like me to send it to you, just the offers on the table.
If I feel the need, I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah, please do. I think I still have them all.
But yeah, I made a list of movies that I feel like I need to rewatch.
Oh,
like movies that I didn't, movies that I didn't really like that much when I first saw them, and I'm pretty sure it's my fault entirely. Because whether it's the condition in which I saw it, or I saw it like too early. The biggest example, the movie that I really want to rewatch is 2001: Space Odyssey.
Right.
I think I might have talked about that at some point,
definitely.
but I saw it when I was like 14 years old. It was my first ever Stanley Kubrick movie, and I saw it in my living room when there was like a bunch of other people in the room talking and stuff like that. And it's just thinking about it, like, I don't know why I did that, because I was like the worst possible conditions to watch it.
Yeah.
Like the other worst condition that I can think of is like on a very like low quality phone in like a very crowded place.
Yeah.
But if I can ever see it in theaters, I will.
Yeah, I would probably take that offer as well. Not to derail this topic, but
yeah,
I do want to mention one realization that I literally just had on the podcast, that I was thinking about like how old I was, because you mentioned like, well, you were talking about how like, oh, I was 14 when I saw Space Odyssey, and I was like, how old was I when I watched Evangelion again? And I was like, I had to be 15, right? Because it was like 3 years ago. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. No, I was 17. And then I went, hey, wait a minute. I'm going to be 20 in a month. I was like, oh, no. Just all at once, the fact that I was 17 3 years ago is like a big thing. I was like, whoa, okay. Oh, that was a weird feeling for a moment. So like, if on the video capture about a minute or two ago you saw my eyes get really wide, that's why.
I remember, like, for so long I was like, oh, I can't wait to be 18. 18 is gonna be so cool. And then I spent my 18th birthday during quarantine when there was a 8 p.m. curfew. And I always pictured my 18th birthday being like going at a bar and getting fucking drunk as hell. But instead it was just me going to a convenience store and buying like a can of like, the type of alcohol that tastes like juice, because that's all I drink.
Yeah.
And I went to I went to pay for my stuff, and the cashier did not even ask for any ID or anything, because thinking about it, of course she didn't, because I looked exactly the same way that I look now, with the beard and everything.
That's incredible.
So
oh my god,
it doesn't really surprise me.
I had a really funny moment the other day with IDs. So the theater that I usually go to, and I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to dox myself, but the theater I usually go to is a Cinemark, and they have a rule there that I was not aware of, that if you are under the age of 17, you cannot be allowed in there after 6 p.m. without a parent or guardian. So my friends and I, we all bought tickets to go see Sonic 2. We all walked right up to the front, and I scanned my tickets, and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, can I see some ID?" And I went, "For Sonic?" I was like, "What for?"
Damn.
I was like, "What for?" And he was like, "Oh," he pointed to the rule board. I was like, "I thought I was about to be ID'd for a kids movie." All right, so
it's like, damn, what's in that movie?
Yeah, I was like, "What kind of movie is this?" I'm like, "What?" That was just
Idris Elba was just too sexy for that.
He was too sexy for it. Had to give it
too sexy for
had
it.
to give it an I had to give it an R rating.
Yeah.
But I was very perplexed by that. Not only because it was Sonic 2, but also because I realized that it has been many a month since I've been ID'd for anything, especially movies. So like, I remember. Like, I can't even remember the last time I was ID'd. That's how, like, long it was. And the fact that the thing that broke that streak was Sonic 2 is a very, very funny thing to me.
I don't think I've ever been ID'd at all.
Really? I think...
Yeah.
I'm sure I told the ID mix-up story on here about the time that my friends and I almost got kicked out of our local Cinemark.
That I don't remember that.
We were going to see Child's Play. Does that ring any bells?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is a good one. So,
all right.
This was the summer I turned 17. So, 2019.
Right.
The remake for the Child's Play movie came out with Mark Hamill as Chucky. And I was getting together with my friends to go see it. It was 4 of us. 3 of us were 17. 1 of us was 16. And that was my friend. And so we all get up. We all get up to the counter. They buy their tickets. I go up to buy my ticket. And around this time, I didn't have a car or anything. So I didn't have a car. I didn't have like a debit card or anything like that. So I wouldn't carry around my wallet. I would just kind of carry like cash, just like if I needed to pay for something if I was out. And so I got up to the counter and I forgot that Child's Play was an R-rated movie. And so they're like, "Okay, can I see some ID?" I was like, "Oh no, I left it at home." And so I texted my mom, I'm like, "Hey, can you go up to my room and get a picture of this for the theater people?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." Or she was like, "Yeah, sure." So I bought the tickets. I showed them the picture, and they're like, "All right, yeah, fine. You're over 17. Go ahead." But he writes the words CID. So they wanted them to look at my ID before letting me into the theater. Now, this is where the issue comes in.
Sure.
I bought...
All right.
So my 2 other friends who were over 17 bought their tickets themselves, so there's no problems. I bought the ticket for myself and my friend who was under 17. So... So at that moment, I'm like, "Oh no." I was like, "This is a problem." So I walk up to my friends and I just go,
Right.
"We got a situation." So what we ended up doing was we switched tickets, so that theirs were the ones that read CID, so their IDs could be checked, no problems, and we could just walk in. Oh,
Right.
that oversight! Like, if they had just been a little more thorough about checking IDs, like to get into the theater, we might have been kicked out of that theater. And thankfully that didn't happen. But I remember as soon as we walked in, got past everyone and everything, I looked at my friend who was under 17 and I went, "We're not watching a movie together until you're 17. and thankfully he turned 17 the week before Midsummer came out. So we were able to go see that.
Good.
So, but yeah, there was also the time that I was just kind of let in to go watch Us before I was 17. That was kind of funny. And I'm trying to think of like other theater times or other kind of like theater mishaps that I've had. I've definitely told the French Dispatch story on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I can't really think of any other big ones. Were there any that you had?
Yeah, I don't really have any like crazy story out of theater because like I don't know. So until like last year when theaters opened back up, I didn't really see that many movies in theater because I always had to, like when I was really young, I had to be with like my parents and stuff, where I had to like ask my mom to drop me or something. That was always too annoying, and I always preferred just like watching a movie in my room because that was just easier to do. But now that I have access to public transports and that I have money, I try to go much more often. And I don't really have, no, I've never really had any issue.
That's good.
I had the bad idea of, so I don't know why I did that in the first place, but when it came out, I went to see the Minions in theaters on the day that it came out.
Why?
All right. I don't know.
I mean, I saw it,
yeah.
but I saw it with my aunt. Like,
I actually did that too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were meaning that you went by yourself.
No. I did not go see that on my own.
Oh, that was a moment of pure confusion on my end. Oh my goodness.
But it's like, it's probably the worst experience I've had watching a movie in theaters. But it wasn't even that bad.
I get you. Yeah.
It was just a lot of people talking, but it's like the movie wasn't even good to begin with, so it didn't really matter that much.
Right.
I do have. It's like a memory of an old memory that I have of when I like my first times watching a movie in theater. Back in like 2007, 8, that kind of time. There was always an ad, and I don't know why, but it was an ad that would only show on like in theaters, but that had nothing to do with movies. It was an ad about like it was a PSA ad about like the risks of fire and like about burnt victims and stuff like that. And it talked, there was at the end of the ad, there was a woman who was a burnt victim and who had like a pretty bad burns on her face. And as a like 5-year-old, that fucking scared me so much.
What the hell? What movie were you seeing?
What
movies? What movies would this play in front of?
Spider-Man 3.
What the hell? Like,
not even kidding. It was more than one movie. It was many movies.
Why? Okay.
I don't know.
I understand the need for that kind of ad.
Yeah.
But like, I thought you were gonna bring up like it was some like, oh, this is some goofy commercial that they always played, because like there's always like these commercials. Like I've seen the same M&M ad like before every movie I've seen for like the last 5 years. So I thought it was gonna be something on the lines of that, but no.
There is. All right, so the theaters that I always go to is a brand of theaters that is called Cineplex, which is a Canadian brand of theaters, and they've got the same ad that they've been like showing at the beginning of every movie for the last quite a lot of years, at least like a good 7 years, I'd say.
Okay.
Which is those like because it's like an ad for a bank that is like associated with the theater company, and it's basically like an army of small popcorn characters that are coming into the theater to like pay for food. It sounds weird, but it's like it's just a nice little.
It sounds fun.
Ad. It's fun, but it's like I didn't really think much of it. But then last year, when I saw my first movie in theaters for almost 2 years because of COVID, I went to see Demon Slayer the movie with my brother, and we saw the ad, and we both looked at each other like, Oh my god, I'm so glad I'm seeing that right now. I'm so happy to see those little popcorn characters. It is. It's really nice.
I had a moment. I had a moment similar to that when I was when I saw my first movie after the pandemic, which was it was oh god, what movie was it? It was Quiet Place 2. And it's an okay movie, but I remember before the movie, there was the same Eminem's ad that I had seen years and years and years before, but it was different. It was slightly different, and it just it gave me a feeling, like just a feeling like, oh, life is different. I am in a different I'm in a different space right now. Like this place has changed, not too drastically, but at the same time, I just remember I was like, it was such a very strange feeling. What were you say?
Well, what I imagine is I just see you in a world where everyone's wearing a mask, where you have to wash your hands everywhere you go, and you have to keep distance from everyone. It's like everything's fine. And then get into the theater, and the Eminem ads a bit different. You're like, oh no, what has the world become?
What has happened? No, I get that. That's fine.
Yeah. No, the theaters are fucking nice. I have to go back more. But what's really cool is on next September I'm gonna be going to a new school, a new college. Ooh. And this college is like downtown Montreal, is where in the center of fucking everything, and it's right next to the Quebec Cinematheque, which is where I saw Pink Floyd The Wall, and where they show a bunch of those types of movies, which dude. I never really have the time to go watch, because it's always I have to take the subway and everything. But if I'm right next to it, then I'm gonna have the opportunity to watch those movies. And I'm also gonna have there's also another theater right next to it, so I plan to watch a lot more movies in theater once I get back in college.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome.
But that's something that I'm looking forward to. They recently they had a whole Cronenberg thing. They were showing. I think they were the only theater showing Drive My Car.
Mm-hmm. I saw mine in my my local my local art house theater.
Right, and it's cool because it's a place that's been really archiving a lot of stuff for Quebec cinema, and there was a lot of movies that would have been lost if it wasn't for them.
No, that's awesome.
So they're like the Quebec equivalent of the Criterion Collection, except they don't make DVDs, but
Yeah, I get you.
No, that's really cool. That's a really cool place, and that's really cool. Also, completely out of topic. I'm also gonna be at a 5-minute walk away from Chinatown, which is just so fucking cool to begin with. Really cool. I'm gonna eat some ramen, and no one can stop me.
No one can stop me.
But yeah, no one can stop me. But yeah, no, theaters are cool.
Theaters are cool,
and it's what's funny is I feel like every once in a while, going on Twitter, I'm gonna see people talking about theaters are important, those kinds of tweets, and we need to support them. We need to go watch movies in the theater. And then you're always gonna have the same 2-3 people in the comments being like, "No, movie theaters suck." Every single time I've been there, there's always been people making a bunch of noise, and I can't pay attention to my movie. And it's man, where have you been? I've rarely had that kind of stuff happen to me.
Yeah, the most recent time that I had people being loud in the theater was when I saw Sonic, but that's because it was a kids movie. There were kids there; they were having a good time. I'm not gonna be the nearly 20-year-old man in the back just going, "Shut up! I'm trying to watch a movie." It's of course, of course, it's a kids movie. They're gonna yell, whatever, dude. Like if it's like to the point where like a
Uh,
kid like is like running around, that's where I'm like, okay, get take control,
yeah,
take
yeah,
control of your child. But I mean, if they're just standing up, yelling,
yeah.
having a good time, man, that's that's pretty cool. Whatever.
I will say a message to the whole world: if you have the opportunity to do that, the best time to watch a movie in theaters is Wednesday 1 p.m.
Yes, it is.
because no one's watching a movie at that time. I did that a few times, and at some point I did that a couple months ago when I watched The Suicide Squad. I was the only person in the entire room, and that was like barely a month after it came out, so it's not even that long.
Yeah. The last
But it's just no one
the last time
saw
I
it.
had an opportunity to do that was when I saw Lamb. I saw it, I believe, on a Wednesday, or either I think it was a Tuesday afternoon, at like just like 4. It was like
Yeah.
my friends and I were the only ones in the theater. I'm like, you know what, this is nice.
Recently, so this week I took the decision to do something, the one thing that I have planned this summer to do, and I'm very excited about it. I am going to be going to my very first film festival.
Ooh,
So here in Montreal, there is such a thing as the Fantasia Festival, which is a film festival that shows a bunch of like genre movies, like horror movies, that kind of stuff. And I've been kind of like thinking about going there for a bit, and now I'm really like, all right, I have to go there because it's like I think it's the biggest film festival in town, and it's really the type of movie that I want to see. There's a movie that premiered there last year. What was it called? I think it was Mad Dog, Mad God, something like that, which is a sci-fi stop motion animation movie, like post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie that just seemed crazy and just so amazing. And I was so mad that I missed it. I think now it's like in streaming, so I'm gonna try to find it and watch it. But it just seems like a crazy movie, and I'm really excited to be watching that kind of movie.
no, that's great. Very
Yeah.
recently, there's a good few film festivals kind of in my area. The big one going on right now is an international film festival. That it's kind. See, they say it's an international film festival, but most of the things I've been hearing with it is like a lot of shorts. But that's fine. A lot of shorts from like the area. That's fine and everything.
Yeah.
But I unfortunately have not been able to attend any of them because I've just been busy. But I did have a friend of mine who was able to go, and he said it was a neat experience, even though a couple of the movies were, or a couple of the shorts were a little, not great. But still, it's like I would love either next year or whenever there's another film festival in the area to just go out and do stuff like that. That'd be fun. Maybe that's what maybe that's what we do. Maybe that's what we should do if like we ever do like a movie dudes thing where I come up to Quebec. We'll go. I'll come up around the time that there's the
Yeah.
film festival.
Yeah. It's I don't know if I could ever get to do that one day, but if there's one thing, like one festival that I like to go to, if I could ever go to Cannes,
Oh,
holy shit,
Can would be something else.
that would be. I've heard of people like that got to go there, and it's just like, oh man, so many amazing movie premiered there. Oh, there's something that I need to talk about. There's a rumor that's been going around that apparently this year at Cannes, so next month I think, there's gonna be a movie premiering that no one has heard about, that's been made completely silently, that is apparently made by one of the biggest directors in the world,
What?
but a director that hasn't made a movie in a while.
What?
And there's a lot of speculation as to who it is.
Okay.
People are saying the biggest person. People are saying it might be David Lynch.
No.
And it's
Ain't no way.
so, all right. I don't want to hope too much.
Of course.
'Cause I don't want to be disappointed. But
Oh my god, that'd be
if it's
nuts.
David Lynch, that would be crazy. That would be so fucking cool.
Oh man.
And it's like there are like not clues, but you know there are things like it could be it.
It could very well be.
Might be it, but
oh, that's
yeah.
So where's this premiering?
In Cannes.
When is Cannes again?
It's like mid-May,
Okay.
I think.
Okay, so we'll know by then. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Man, if it actually is David Lynch, holy shit, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I'll lose it.
Yeah. Because I've been thinking for a bit, like, is Twin Peaks the last thing that David Lynch is going to make?
Yeah, the Twin Peaks revival was his last thing.
Is it actually what he said?
No. That just
it,
was. That
oh,
was
right.
just what he.
This is the last thing. Yeah. But it's. I saw. I don't know. I think it's from like a Q&A that he did, like in 2020, 2021, where he was asked, if it wasn't for the pandemic, what would you be doing right now? And he said, probably either making a movie or a TV show. So he still wants to make stuff.
He's still chugging along. That's cool.
He's still, yeah. He's got other plans than his Weather Channel.
Hey, if that's what he wanted to do for the rest of his life, I might be into that. It's kind of good.
Oh, for sure.
You know, yeah, him retiring and then just me hearing from him every so often.
For sure.
Today's number.
Sure. It is Wednesday once again. But if he actually is making a new movie, holy shit. That better be good. I'm gonna watch the fuck out of that. I think I might try to watch like, I think that could be something that I'm gonna try to do this year is like watch most of his movies.
Yeah, the art house theater near me is showing Inland Empire at the end of the month, so I might do that. I don't know.
Nice.
Depends on what I'm up to around then.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be up to anything. I don't know.
The movie that I really want to see from him is the Elephant Man.
Ooh, yeah.
But I've heard that it's like kind of difficult to watch because it's like pretty dark and stuff.
Right.
But I am very intrigued about it because it seems really good. And obviously Mulholland Drive, which I still haven't seen.
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen that either. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard so many people say, "Oh, Mulholland Drive is his best movie. You have to see it." So, I mean, obviously one day I will, but no, yeah, David Lynch. I actually made a list of like all the directors that I really want to get into this year. I think I might have talked about that though, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I believe you
quite a
mentioned
lot
it when you brought up the list.
Yeah, there's one that I got really like interested into his movies recently is Gaspar Noé, and especially like I've been told by a few people that Enter the Void is a movie that I could potentially really like.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna have to watch it. Enter the Void, but also I mean all of his other movies seem very interesting. I saw a video that he made for this French YouTube channel. So that's there's this French YouTube channel that makes like a like I think it's a magazine as well. They make a bunch of different types of videos. There's one type of video that I love where they go to this video store in Paris, which has like I think 50,000 DVDs.
Jesus.
And no, it's fucking crazy. And they ask like directors and people of the industry, like they just bring them there, and it's like a giant Criterion closet, and they just bring them there and like, all right, talk about any movie you want to talk about. And there was one with Gaspar Noé, and he talked about a bunch of movies. And at some point, he was like, where's your porno section? Which, of course he did. Of course he did, because it's fucking Gaspar Noé. But
that's hilarious.
It's really good. And it's... so I could send, like, the link to you. Most of those videos are in French, but there's a few that are, like...
Like subtitled?
No, but it's well. I mean, Gaspar Noé is a French director, so he speaks French.
I got
that.
you.
But there's a couple with like American directors. Like there's one that I really like with Taika Waititi, where he just talks about like I don't know. He just I don't know why. I don't know why, but I didn't really expect him to be that much of a cinephile. I don't know why. Which, I mean, of course he is, but I don't know why I didn't see that. But he just talked about a bunch of movies. And that video was the first time I ever heard of Harold and Maude. Fun fact.
Wow, really? Okay.
That's how I heard of it. So, yeah. No, that's really cool. But, yeah, no, that's like... ever since I started watching those videos, I was like, man, if only I could, like, do that one day. You're like, do you imagine... just like being in a room with 50,000 DVDs and being told like talk about whatever you want to talk about.
God, I like we've talked about it before, but being able to do like a Criterion Closet thing like that, Jesus, that'd be so fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't even know what I would talk about. That could be actually. That's kind of an interesting idea for a podcast topic. We could like
Criterion, yeah.
We could like each come up with a list of like I don't know, maybe like 10 movies we could talk about like from the Criterion collection, why we think they're so great.
Right. Because the thing too is like with the Criterion Closet videos, it's not just talking about your favorite movies, but it's also like talking about movies that you like or that you're interested in, and then taking them home. Like they're yours now. That's yours. What's so cool. Like you see those, like one of my favorite ones is with the Safdie brothers, because they've got like this bag, like they each have their own bag, and it's just like filled entirely, and it's like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. No, it's like, I mean, of course you're gonna ask like those massive cinephiles, like take whatever you want. They're gonna take a shitload of stuff, and then you see people, and whenever I see people that are like, I'm not gonna be greedy, I'm just gonna take like this and that and that, and it's like, man, come on, fucking take as much as you can.
Yeah, it's the Criterion Closet.
No one's gonna judge you. No one's gonna judge you for that. Dude, the day I'm invited into the Criterion Closet, I am robbing the fuck out of that. I'm taking one of each. I don't even care if it's a movie that I'm interested in. I like, even if it's a movie that doesn't seem good. Fuck it, I'm taking it. I don't care.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that kind of stuff, like the Criterion Closet.
Oh yeah, me too. Those are always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that could be maybe next episode we could come up with that.
Yeah, that'd be a fun thing to do. Yeah, I'll start putting stuff together.
Yeah. But
there's I guess that's kind of all I had to say really. Would you like to get into next week's movie?
Sure.
So I want to bring this up since next week is a special occasion. It is the 25th episode. Well, I guess it's not exactly special, but it's,
no, it kind of is.
It's different. Yeah, it's like this is
it's a
we're
milestone.
we're a quarter way to 100 episodes. I kept trying to think about what I would want since it is my turn to to recommend. I kept trying to think of what I have in my recommendations that is, even a remotely special event. But then I did find something. I did find a little something. And I wanted to ask you, would you be okay with doing a trilogy episode next week?
Depends on the trilogy.
Well, how about we do the Wong Kar-wai Love Trilogy, aka Days of Being Wild, In the Mood for Love, and 2046.
I'm down for that.
Let's do it then.
Because I've only seen, I've only seen In the Mood for Love, which was no, not that long ago. It was around like, I don't know, 8 months ago.
Yeah,
something like that.
It was about. It was nearly.
I haven't seen the other ones.
It was nearly a year for me since I've seen all of them. But these three movies, Days of Being Wild, In the Mood for Love, and 2046, are some of Wong Kar-wai's. They're definitely some of his most celebrated stuff, especially In the Mood for Love. And until recently, they were not exactly the most accessible movies. But now that the Criterion's gotten some streaming rights for them and obviously reproduction rights, I believe they're all on the Criterion channel. Is that right?
I believe so. I'm gonna look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure they are. Yep.
Awesome.
No, 2046 isn't there, I think.
Really? Or hang on.
I don't think it is.
2046 streaming. It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
It says it's on Amazon, but currently unable to watch in my location. So I would have to assume that it would work if you had a VPN. I don't know.
No idea.
Shoot.
I'm gonna figure it out.
You sure?
I'm sure I could figure something out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, okay. So next week, the Wong Kar-wai Love Trilogy, episode 25. We've been here for 25 episodes.
25 episodes.
That is insane.
Well, all right. Can I just say something? Like, it's a big number, but I feel like we've been doing the podcast for so long, it almost feels small. I don't know if you got the same thing.
I feel a little bit of that. Like I was just thinking about it recently when we were I think we had just hit 20 or something, and I was like, it doesn't really feel like it, but that's more than like 20 weeks since we started this podcast. And it's good. We're coming up on the year anniversary.
Yeah.
Not like coming up on it like that. Like it's in a few months still. But it's
in 4 months.
It's in sight.
Yeah. I don't even know what we're going to do for that.
I genuinely no idea.
Yeah. We're going to start thinking of something. If we want to make something big.
Oh, I'm sure we should. It's our birthday.
We got to do. Yeah. It's our common birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Got to do something about that.
But I guess that about does it. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm Alec.
And I'm Phil.
And this has been Movie Dudes, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Movie Dudes.